In today's Health Watch, last month, new firearms safety laws went into place in an effort to curb youth violence. The focus is on two things: increasing access to prevention and education for families, and safeguards to keep lost, stolen, or crime-linked weapons from re-entering into communities. That's according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Firearm injuries were the leading cause of death among children ages and teens in 2020 and 2021. So you may be wondering, why are we talking about this with Dr. Lindsay Fish from Denver Health? Thank you so much for being here with us. We want to dive right in. Can you tell us more about the goals of these new safety measures?
So really the measures are in place to strengthen our communities, and it's about combining prevention with accountability and recognizing that both pieces are important. Components that matter to our community are that local organizations and schools will have a lot more access to information to share with families, and families and caregivers will get lots of resources for how to prevent youth violence, how to have tough conversations with our kids about mental health, about risk factors for violence, how to safely secure firearms to prevent them from being used in these types of situations. And then, of course, on the opposite side of accountability, really trying to minimize illegal firearms from being resold.
I love that. So how do these measures help protect young people specifically?
Well, as you mentioned, unfortunately, firearm violence is a big cause of injury and death in our young people. And so it's really important to be aware of them. And so what we're going to do is really try and gather information, gather our community together, and raise awareness. We know that early intervention to identify young people with risk factors can prevent them from experiencing firearm injuries or death. For example, access to a firearm is one of the greatest risk factors for suicide and violence. So just understanding how to safely secure a firearm can make a huge difference in preventing these outcomes for our kids.
100%. So what changes will legal firearm dealers and law enforcement see?
So on the accountability side, we're working on that piece too. So firearm dealers who legally sell firearms will now have greater ability to check firearms and identify those that have been lost or stolen or linked to a crime before they purchase it, to minimize reselling it potentially if it has been linked to a crime. And our law enforcement will be able to better check serial numbers on these to ensure that transactions are more legitimate. We need our businesses and our law enforcement partnering with our communities to address this issue.
Yeah, everybody working together just makes it better. So talking about earlier, why we're talking about this with you, why is this considered a public health approach to gun violence?
Well, violence from firearms is really important. It's a cause of injury, it's a cause of death, and it's preventable, just like so many other things that we deal with in healthcare. We can prevent things. It's so much better than having to deal with it after the fact. And if we bring everybody together, our local organizations, our schools, families, businesses, law enforcement, we have a multi-layered approach to really keep our communities safe.
Yes, and that's what you keep us safe from, from all the things from vaccines to talking now about this gun issue. So thank you so much for being here.
Pleasure.
As always, we appreciate your time, and we'll be seeing you next week for our next health topic.